Industry Insider is only available at Promo Corner, the leader in digital marketing for the promotional products industry. Each Monday, they discuss, dissect, and debate a single issue impacting the world of promotional marketing from every industry perspective. Now, it's time for Promo Corner's Industry Insider.
Welcome to another edition of the Industry Insider, your promotional products podcast where you can get all the nerdy news you need to know about. My name is Jeff Franklin, National Accounts Manager with Headwear USA, and I'm joined today by how many different folks is that? I guess there's like two duplicates on the screen from what I can tell. Hi, Stephen McFadden. How are you doing?
Hey.
Well, if you can't tell, Stephen's live from the trade show floor, PPAI EXPO. But before we get into that and all the goodness there, and this is the official FOMO episode. Okay, so you guys are going to get all the FOMO out of the way with if you're not there at the show floor. But today's broadcast is brought to you by our good friends at Promo Corner. Promo Corner provides digital marketing solutions for suppliers and distributors, and their services include email broadcasting, banner ads, sponsorship opportunities, content, and more content. Blogs, vlogs, podcasts, video services, and Promo Show, a platform for private virtual events. If you're in Las Vegas, stop by booth 5347 and say hello. I know we've got a lot of good, strong people over there at Promo Corner attending the booth and walking about. I've seen all the social media posts and super excited that I'm not there, I guess. So, Meg Erber, why don't we say hi to you first? How are you?
Well, the vid got me, guys. The vid got me. I've just been hanging in there, like legit. It took a lot today to do my hair and come down to my office, but I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm all right.
Well, luckily the podcast is a couple days into your coronavirus stint, because if it were a few days ago, you wouldn't have been able to make it. So
this is the first day I've been able to get out of bed since last week. So yeah.
Well, we're lucky for that. I'm glad you're doing okay. And, even though you still got a bit of a fever and all that good stuff, you still look great and super excited you're here with us. Stephen, where are you at?
I am in Las Vegas.
Nice.
At the PPAI EXPO. I'm currently in 5347 in the Promo Corner booth that we just were talking about. Yeah. So we can get some.
That's our friend
Brandon.
Awesome,
man. Yes, it is. Yeah, he's working hard.
Can you show us his shoes again? What the heck was that?
Okay, we'll do some shoes. We want to see your shoes.
Oh yeah, the collab to the David sunflower seeds.
And
there we go.
Seeds.
Check those out.
Yeah.
You know what?
Nice.
For some New Balances, those are for some pretty decent kicks, Brendan. I'll give it to you. All right, very good.
Well, cool, man.
Again, this is the official FOMO episode. So very much like we did with ASI Chicago with our friend Charity Gibson walking around the show booth or show floor at ASI, the first official show back since the pandemic. Now this is PPAI's first show back since all the lockdowns and all that good stuff. So Stephen, why don't you give us a quick recap of like what you've noticed so far? I mean, we talked last week about people pulling out and things like that. So what are you noticing actually at the event?
Well, I will get to that, but I do not want to miss an opportunity real quick for the ultimate FOMO experience. They did just bring puppies out. So I think I need to do that because I don't know how much longer they're going to be here. And then I will tell you that. Does that sound okay?
That's
fair.
That's fair. I mean, if we're going to have FOMO, you can't talk about the expo without a bunch of puggles. So... But
They're so
no,
cute.
the show, I know, but no work gets done over there. So,
so other than the puppies, are people like steering clear of each other as much as possible, or like have you noticed it being awkward or weird at all?
It hasn't, but I will say, just like the overall, I mean, you guys know when you're exhibiting, especially like early mornings when there's that initial rush, it seems to be the same. Like if you're near an entrance, if you're got a bunch of stuff in the morning, it's pretty busy. It was pretty busy earlier the first day. And then early, even to day 2, I've talked to a lot of suppliers and they said that the traffic has been great. It isn't as busy though. You can definitely notice a difference in the aisles, which isn't bad. I mean, it isn't really bad. You guys probably have gotten this too. Like I've stopped by both of your booths, and it's like you have to wait 20-30 minutes sometimes just say hi to
That would be the inside of a convention center.
Good enough people, but not what's that?
Oh, we
So that
lost
would
you
be
for a
the inside of a
second.
convention center. You went out for a minute.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was just kind of
That's all right.
rattling. But yeah, so the overall amount of people is less, but isn't bad. So
Isn't that the Snugs booth behind you?
Fitting. Yeah, it's so Sweden Snugs. Yes. So we can do, and there's Jeff Anderton walking up here. Let me grab him real quick.
Yeah, I want to hear Jeff.
So yeah, I know, right? So yeah, I know they got some new news. So we're at the what's this? The Sweden/Snugs booth now. Yeah. So Sweden did a good job as they've done before.
Wait, Jeff has some big news. Can we get that news from him? Because I've been like literally waiting and very patiently for weeks about this news that Jeff has.
So Jeff is gone, but I can share what I think it is. So I was over and I'm gonna make my way over to their booth as well. But Snugs did basically some new augmented reality where they are using QR codes where you can kind of product place your samples and your products like in the room. So I send you a QR code and it's now a rendering of your product with your virtual on it in front of your face. So you can kind of move it around and manipulate it. It's very smooth. And I'm actually walking that direction. I'm not going to try to move a ton because, as you know, it can get a little dicey in the convention centers with the signals. But yeah, no, it was really cool. There's been a lot of unique things that some people have brought to the table. It's hard to tell, like in a year like this, how much new there would be, whether it would be, let's just show people the same stuff we had because we haven't seen people in 2 years, or is it going to be, let's try to still continue to bring what's new. And there's been a lot of new stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of programs things. Am I losing you again? Are you good? You good?
You're okay right now.
Okay, I'll stop.
No, you're
so,
fine.
But a lot of things that have been new are things like what people are doing to combat the inventory issues, or what are they doing with their websites to make things easier to help us find what's in stock, stuff like that. So, but it does appear that there's still a lot of new product releases. So
I was going to ask that question actually. How are you finding that? Because I think that's something a lot of people were feeling. Is there even going to be a lot of new product out in 2022 since we can't even keep the stuff that's already supposed to be in stock? Like, how were suppliers able to really sort of combat that and jump on it early in order to get stock in? Or are we going to have issues with hey, we're showing new stock now, but it won't be until June before you get it in stock?
It's a great question, and something I didn't consider was the amount of people that weren't even able to launch their new stuff even in the last show. So some of the people have been like, yeah, this is 2 years in the making. We just got the inventory now and just got the new stuff that we were hoping to have shown 2 years ago, but we couldn't also because of COVID. So some of those people were having challenges, I think, earlier than we even realized with inventory and supply chain stuff. There still are new product releases that have been coming out. I still have seen quite a few new stuff. I don't know that I've seen, the booths themselves seem to be about the same size, and the amount of product seems to be, but I would notice that some of these places have put more into like their technology side of things and not just the products. So, for example, like I'm in front of the PCNA booth, and as you guys know, I think they had taken a break, but then they came back. But their booth is not all product. It's presentations, it's audiovisual, it's talking about their systems, and then there's a little bit of new product release and inventory stuff. So I've seen quite a few of that. It's not just the one-off. I know earlier you mentioned too, like, do we notice the gaps? Because that was a question everyone was polling. It's Yes and no. So they did a good job at condensing the overall show, like footprint. So they moved some stuff in and moved some stuff over, but there are still gaps. So, so yeah, you do notice some of that, but those have been turned into like rest areas and break areas and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's an
If you
interesting
can
way
still hear
to,
me,
to
I'm going to
actually.
make my way to the Snugs to see if we can get.
Yeah, that's
So
actually an interesting way to
Interesting way to
handle
what?
like the empty spaces, is to put chairs and stuff there for people to sort of sit. That's interesting. You said you were playing a little game with the empty booth spaces as well, right?
Yeah,
It's
I hear you now.
definitely some lag.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's all
all
right.
the testing you can do, you still can never plan. So I'm gonna
The
hunker
fact that
down in
we're
a
even
spot that
making
looks
this
good.
happen in that huge concrete building is astonishing. So you're doing a fine job, Stephen. Don't.
Oh man.
So Stephen, what was the
Yes.
most, I really like what you said about how, not everybody is focusing on just new product. Yeah, it's here, but it's like, look what we've done to better ourselves as suppliers, to make your lives more functional as distributors.
Yeah.
I think investing in themselves, investing in the technology, and I think that's so huge right now. Was there any one supplier or several suppliers that really stood out in that realm?
It's hard to single out like one or two, but I've had really good conversations with pretty much everyone that's been here. I will say the technology side of things has definitely been the emphasis. Like you
Good.
mentioned, you can make. I think people have realized this past year too that you can improve your business without necessarily changing your product. You can just improve the processes, right? So that's been a huge focus, I think, because it's been a necessity. Without the stuff, then you can't have, then you can't have the sales. So that's our future guest, Jody, who just walked by.
Aww.
With Maple Ridge. So I hate to I try to think of the one in particular that did a really good job, but there's been, I can't tell you how many conversations that are very similar, but basically talking about just ease of use on their website, ease of use with the inventory. A lot of people are doing better with projecting their dates. So, when someone does have something new, it's always like, yeah, but when can I actually sell this? And they're like, no, we didn't bring it because we know we're not going to have it for 4 months. This is the stuff we do have, and here it is. So like Ariel did that. They brought in the drinkware line they were trying to bring in for a couple years, so it's like, here it is. We actually finally have stuff, so it's pretty cool. It's been.
How long have you been there, Stephen? What day did you get in?
You're gonna. We got in Sunday morning. So
okay.
We've been
So
here,
how was education? Like walk us through the event thus far. I mean, obviously the event starts with education. Yeah. What have you noticed there?
Well, I'm going to be really caught in 4K here. We went to the sand dunes during education day. So,
okay.
I saw that. That looked like a lot of fun, though. Is it like a team building thing that you did?
We did. It's been tough for us to get out to do things as a team. Even our holiday party was supposed to be at a hockey game, and the team got COVID before our game the day before. So we were pivoted to do a dinner, but I'm like, man, it'd be nice to still be able to do some fun stuff with the team that's coming. And so, nice activity like that you can do in Vegas and you can't really do it at home. So, so we decided to do something like that. So that's been good. But no, I will say the check-in process was different this year. It's actually down at the end where the decorate section is because the floor plan was shifted. It was super easy. It was all the digital pickup. I will say something to talk about too. So you see everyone's badges. So they give out these pins. These are like what you're comfortable with as far as like high fives, hugs, elbow bumps, or stay away from me. And they have green, yellow, and red ones. So everybody walking around has a pin. So it's like when you go into a booth or whatever, like, all right, is this someone that I haven't seen in a long time? Can I give them a hug finally? Or, are we fist bumping or are we staying our distance? So
That's
They've
actually
done a
cool.
good job with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Very
actually pretty
cool.
cool. And I'm pretty sure Brandon put that in the comments as well, saying that they have pins for the lanyards to show what your preference is for shaking hands, bumping elbows, or distancing. So that's really neat. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So Stephen,
Yeah.
one thing question for you. So one thing that I'm always talking about, I know Charity's always talking about it as well, and it's all about reinventing yourself. You know, the last 2 years we've had this opportunity to do differently, be differently. Are you, when you walked in there, are you seeing a lot of the same old, everyone's putting up their same booths and putting up product? Or are you seeing people really, I mean, I guess you kind of touched on that with the technology, but really looking to see what's different. Is anyone reinventing the wheel over there? Like Numo did in 19, like, or 20, I don't know what year it was, but when you know what I'm talking about.
The house that Numo built, right?
Yeah, that was so cool.
The probably the best one I saw was HPG. They did it again this year. They always try to have some interactive component where they've done game shows and things. This year they built like an interactive like vending machine, kind of like a Caravana, and they use their different vendors to kind of incorporate it. So they have BCG that does wood products, and they made these giant wooden coins that you then feed into the vending machine. And when you do, based on the slot you put it in, a video plays that's curated to the area you put it in. You can pick sweet, salty, or surprise.
Perfect.
And then once the video got done playing, this drawer like fills with like steam and fog, and you open the drawer, and inside of it is samples for their products and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
So
that is really cool.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I know when we had Jason Lukash on, he had mentioned that he wanted to stop by the booth to see what they did, because that apparently came from you, right, Stephen? Like that whole idea?
Well, that didn't. It was one of their product lines that they added. Okay. They had a new product launch called Sweet Spot. Basically, it's really nice gourmet candy and food that they've added to their line. I'll have to tell you some of the backstory behind that, but it's pretty cool. It's a cool little addition to their company. So they've been growing. You know, I can't get back to the snug section because every time I go back there, I lose you. But you know, their section is really cool too. You know, they have, you know, obviously their new announcement with Sweeta and the Snugs too, and everyone seems super, super excited about that. So their booth is interesting because their demo for that new QR code portion is their llama. Remember the llama that they had? So you can actually QR code the llama like in the middle of the trade show floor and pretend there's a llama like in front of you, because they didn't bring the actual one this year because of some issues, but now you can bring your digital llama. So is it like a Snapchat filter kind of, like where you just like a geo filter kind of thing? It's full augmented reality. So yeah, that's cool. You drop it down, like, you know, I want to drop it down on the floor, like right here, and then I can zoom in and make it bigger. And then you can like pose it and take pictures with your llama. So it's been, it's cool. They did a good job too with their interactive component of their booth. So, and I'm actually going to try to walk.
Stephen, the question that's on everybody's mind. Okay. What does eye candy look like?
Oh yeah.
It looked much like eye candy normally looks last night.
Really?
Were people wearing masks?
Well, not really, because people were drinking and stuff. So, you know, it's funny. So we had an event last night, food and drinks. So in dancing, it wasn't quite the participation, like the size as it's been in the past. So perfect. And but you know, then everyone's like, oh, we're all
we got Robo Steven.
Still? Like this year? You know, so but yeah, made it over there.
So about them Raiders.
About them Raiders. Yeah, speaking of that is that tonight? Is that tonight?
I think that was the other day, wasn't it? The Raiders game?
Was it last night or is it today?
I don't even know what day it is. So
today's Wednesday.
That game's Saturday.
And then there was
Can you guys
the
hear me?
big game, right? The dogs, they won, right?
Can you
Big
guys hear me?
game that
We can
everyone
hear
was
you. Yeah.
watching.
Okay, so you want to talk about an interesting experience with the Raiders game?
Yeah.
So that was actually here the first day of setup. So Mandalay Bay has the bridge over to the stadium. So when that game was going on, it was unlike a scene I've ever seen. Like literally,
Ah. So
Yeah,
literally it was a
gone.
sea of like black and white and silver, I think. And
Literally, he pushed his
literally.
earbud and hung up the phone or something. I don't know.
No, you know what
No,
though?
but
When they were building that, Jeff, that stadium, I remember looking out my window and being like, wow, that is beautiful. And I saw a picture, I can't remember who posted it, but it looks super futuristic. Did you see it?
yeah, I've seen it. I mean, I there's actually a documentary on YouTube of them building it as well. It's really cool. Awesome looking stadium, but obviously we were talking about the event that PPAI is doing there, and I don't know if that was last night or if it's tonight, but really, I was super looking forward to that if I was going to be there. I know I had purchased tickets before we had to back out, but we were talking about that obviously instead of the game. But Stephen, you are back with us, so maybe you can continue that thought regarding the Raiders.
yeah, sorry. It was
game.
just a unique experience in Vegas where, it's a new team in the state and in the area. And we are all the promo folks are in the hotel that's directly across the street from the stadium. So it was just this bizarre setting where you walk through the hotel and you walk through the casino and no table games are going on because every employee has stopped and is watching a television. All the people around the games are stopped and watching television. The sportsbook was flowing out into the crowd, and there was like half Chargers, half Raiders everywhere. And it was so loud. Like, it was incredible. Like, every point, the entire casino floor was like yelling like you were inside of a stadium. It was unbelievable.
That's a cool
and I know a lot of
experience.
it was pretty wild. It was something I won't forget.
That actually makes a lot of sense because most of the locals there in Vegas are actually Chargers fans. I'm actually really surprised that Oakland moved to Las Vegas instead of San Diego, because I think San Diego was thinking about it as well, right? They would have had a huge fan base there already.
Yeah. It was just and that's one thing to consider too. When now that there's the Knights and the Raiders and all these other activities to do in town, we're seeing a lot of suppliers and stuff host, outings and stuff at these new places you can do. It used to just be dinner and or a show or a breakfast or a lunch, but now you've got sporting events that you can go to, which is really unique and kind of fun. So there was a lot of people that were at the Raiders game. There's a Knights game, I think, tonight or tomorrow, I think, and we know of a lot of folks that are going to that as well. So,
Stephen, are you going to the Promo Palooza thing that PPAI is doing at Reliance Stadium?
I am. Yeah, that's actually this evening, so we'll be at that. It says that it's sold out, so that's honestly kind of surprising because of the amount of dropouts and stuff that are going on that had happened prior to, but it says sold out still. So I'm excited to see what that's like. I think it'll be a cool experience. So
yeah, I hope that it's an awesome experience. I hope that next year they'll do that again there at the stadium, or maybe they won't because they'll try to keep it fresh and new. I don't know, but
right.
I'm bummed that I'm missing that. I was actually really looking forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
Well, I will definitely send some pictures and stuff. Yeah, it's it's the general consensus I get just from the show. I mean, I'm sorry I'm kind of all over the place, but you know how it is with the shows. But I didn't want to forget this. I talked to several people. I'm like, how does this compare to previous years? What are you seeing as far as that? And almost unanimously, people have said, I'm having better conversations and don't feel rushed. So I think there's something.
That's what's important. That's all that really matters. The suppliers spend so much money to be there. So do the distributors. Like, yes, we are all there because we miss each other, but that's not our job. You know what I mean? Like, that's really, really, really good to hear. Really good to hear.
Yeah, and I think, you know, everyone said, yeah, there's a little bit of a lull around lunchtime when some years it wouldn't be, but they're like, it's fine. Like, they're like, it'll pick back up like clockwork, you know, as soon as lunch ends. I am a little curious to see because, you know, we actually completed the walk of the whole floor quicker than we've normally had. Like I try to usually schedule it and map it out. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get this many booths in this day and this many in the next day. And there wasn't as many booths, right? So we did finish a little bit sooner. I am curious what tomorrow will be because it is, you know, it is a little smaller of a show. Do you need that extra half day, right? I just don't know. But you know, everything I hear from people, it's been great. I mean, suppliers seem to have been super receptive of everything. There's been a couple instances where there's been some logistical challenges with some booths. I did want to mention Raining Rose. You know, I know Meg, we talked a little bit about this prior too. Their booth didn't arrive. You know, they had some samples and stuff, so they set up a booth. But you know what they did was they went out and they bought all sorts of donation items and used those as like pillars to set up their booth, like with donation stuff. And so they said, you know, this is a pillar of our company. We have to deal with it and roll with it. And so they have like, they're like, hey, this is all stuff we're going to donate to local charities because this is something we believe in. And they made a booth like out of donation and like groceries and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
so-
They I know I saw it when Charity was going live the other day and she went up to the booth and I was blown away. I really was. To be able to do something like that and think about that ahead of, like, it's just awesome. Three Square was the nonprofit or the charity in Vegas, and it's for people that they're underserved for their food. Like there's not enough. I don't know. Again, brain fog, but I did post something on the Promo Cares page and they replied and they were so thankful. And I was like, wow, like that's really neat to hear back from the actual recipients. So
yeah, that's nice. So there's been some of that, and they're not the only ones that had booth struggles. I mean, you know, if you think about the ratio of orders that have issues, it's probably about the same amount of booths that had issues. You know, it's like it's just
wow.
It's part of the times. You know, there was at least a dozen or so that I saw where they're like, yeah, we're still waiting on a few things, and you know, but people seem to be rolling with it, and some of them was like they had extra tablecloths that they traveled with and they didn't ship it, so they're still setting up a table. And by day 2, it seems like most everybody's set up. So there's been a fair amount, if not more, like private meeting booths. You know how some groups have done things like in the rooms, you know, like, hey, meet us here. I've seen probably about the same amount, if not more, of those this year. So I don't know if that's just people's comfort level of how they would prefer to kind of manage their meeting time, if that's COVID related or not. But I think that's something interesting to look at, because I didn't know if people were going to be doing that at all, you know, this year, but it looks like the same amount or more even. So not as many big social you know, like invites and stuff like you've seen in some years. So I think it's just, you either risk eye candy or you don't. That's like your activities.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, that was the big question. I think that was what a lot of people were concerned about, because I mean, let's face it, that's where most of the business gets done is, you know, at the bars or networking and social events there after the show floor. And it's interesting to hear that that's still happening. That's good.
It is.
Steven, one last question for you. So we can wrap this up. What was the one product that you saw that you were like, bam, this is it. I can't wait to get this product home and show it to my customer?
Oh man. So obviously it's very specific for us and some projects that I have. There was a group here from, they were on Shark Tank as well, but they do, yeah, we got to get them on now, right?
I'll say we'll have to get them on.
All of our guests are Shark Tank people. But they basically created this, it's like a whiteboard paper, but it uses suction, so you can put it on everything. So it's like a sticker, but it's not, and it's like a magnet, but it's not magnetic. So it's pretty interesting, but it's really helpful because some of our clients specifically, and how we've had some requests for different things like that. So that was pretty neat. I think the sugar spot candy and stuff from HPG is going to be a home run. I mean, I think it's another thing that they've seen as a gap in the industry, specifically with candy. Obviously, there's great resources for the chocolates and the edibles and other things like that. But this specifically with the types of candies they brought in is going to be a home run because of the packaging and all that stuff. So those two specifically, I think would be things that when we get back will be sent out in some literature.
Very cool.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
some good stuff.
All right. Any other questions?
No, I think I'm good.
I guess
I think, yeah, it actually froze on my other computer, everything. And I was like, I'm not even on that computer.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Well, I think it was neat. I would have really liked to see the layout, but I know what can we do? You know what I mean? We're at the mercy of the Wi-Fi and
Yeah.
even sideways phone. So, you know, the best.
I'm sure the layout is very similar to the way it normally would be, just smaller. He said they shrunk it in on the sides and tried to fill in as much as possible. So, I mean, it looks like Vegas. You know what I mean?
I caught the tail end, but the show like floor plan, like the footprint. So they brought it in from the back as well. So, you know, like back where the restrooms are in the back, the curtains and stuff, they did bring it in a little bit towards the back. So there's a bigger gap in where like the snack areas are, things like that. And then the side, normally, if for those of you that know, it kind of goes, there's a big long rectangle section and then it makes a hard 90-degree angle. And then there's like about a half again as much on the next side. It's only about 30%, 40% of what it is when you turn the corner. Now, what they did though is they turned a lot of that, which used to be like the old shipping station stuff. That's actually now the big, massive digital check-in area. So you can actually enter where normally you have to go all the way down a hallway, like back towards the side. You could actually enter the booth, like across from the food court, instead of walking all the way down the hallway, and go straight in and do digital checkout or check-in. Okay. So they had all sorts of tablets lined up, probably 30 or 40 of them at least. And you just go and you scan your barcode, it automatically prints your ticket. You get your badge, and then you walk over, pick out your pin, and you're done. So it was super easy. I think it was a good use of the space, you know, knowing that they had that area over there. Tons of staff. You know, I was curious about that too. It's like, is there going to be staffing issues even for the convention centers and stuff? And we haven't seen that from our perspective, but I'm sure there's been some behind the scenes that we may not know about.
So it looks like if there was problems, they didn't let you know about it. PPAI did a really good job of making everyone feel like it's business as normal, except with, you know, wear a mask and high five if the other person's not comfortable. So I think PPAI did a really, really good job of trying to make everyone feel safe, you know, and provide an inclusive experience. And I can tell you just, you know, on behalf of myself and probably Jeff, that we definitely have FOMO and wish we were there. We really do. It's not sick.
It's not sick, right? Yeah. And it's hard to say, like, see, I wish I could show you more of it. Obviously I don't want to keep losing you guys, but it does. The PPI did a fantastic job. I mean, the setup, the break areas, how they kind of battled the challenges of losing people last minute. I was thinking in my head, you're going to walk around and just see these massive gaps, you know, or these massive just areas of like, what is this show, you know? But you don't notice any of it, honestly, really don't. Like, you know, big areas where, you know, some of the larger apparel companies would have been are now like couches and seating areas and there's plants set up. And it's like, oh, maybe this was intentional, you know? So they did a good job. They really did. I mean, the amount of time they had to fix that, it's pretty impressive. You know, because a lot of that was last minute. So very good overall.
Well, and God knows, I'm sure there are people that are sitting in those seats because, you know, walking around that show floor, most of the time people are looking for a seat to take a rest of their feet.
Yeah, they're full. Those might be some of the busiest areas.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
all right, Meg, any further?
I was just saying, I know you guys had asked this pre-show, but you know, besides like the pins and stuff, I mean, mask use has been great. I know people have asked, like, how is it at the show? Like, are people kind of doing what they're supposed to? Yeah, I mean, really, it seems like people have been cooperating pretty well with that, other than eating and drinking, which is, you know, you can't go through the mask anyway. So it's like, you kind of have to take it off for that. But, you know, there's water stations, there's sanitizer stations all over the place. They've got the pins. There's even some social distancing stickers like come up in the outside area towards the food court and stuff like that. So yeah, good job, good overall. I mean, I think best you can do given the situation, and the rest is people. You can't control everybody.
So Brendan says he's out of shape because the walk from the Luxor to the convention floor is a lot longer than the walk from his couch to his home office.
Nobody prepares for that these days, man.
I know. Yeah, that was another thing I was wondering about, is like how many people are like losing their minds at night because they're drinking like they normally would, at an event like that, but then they don't have the tolerance, that they've lost the tolerance over time. So
I will say, in relation to the eye candy question, there's been a lot of pent up party. I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was an earlier night for a lot of our team because it was like there's some people that just haven't had an outlet in a couple of years. You can tell. So we're gonna let them do their thing. So,
it is a marathon, y'all. It is a marathon.
Yeah, it's like that's day one. You got a day and a half to go. Like don't.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, cool. Stephen, on behalf of myself and I'm sure Meg and Promo Corner and everybody that was watching, really appreciate you sort of giving us an inside look at the show since we weren't able to be there in person. And, it's definitely something that we're sorely missing.
Awesome. Well, I wish you guys could be here. I wish I could show you more. While you exit, I will watch the show. So if I drop, at least you get to see a little bit more stuff. So.
All right. Fair enough.
Cool.
Meg, any other questions for Stephen? Or Stephen, do you have any other comments that we should know about?
No, I mean, props to all the people that were able to overcome many challenges that they had. And, I think props to PPAI for the show. Promo Corner as well for all the live content they've been doing throughout the day. So I think it's been good.
Awesome. Well, since you brought up Promo Corner, that's who we were brought to you today by, our good friends over at Promo Corner, the hosts of this show. And Promo Corner, if you're not aware, provides digital marketing solutions for suppliers and distributors alike. And their services include email broadcasting, banner ads, sponsorship opportunities, content, and more content. Blogs, vlogs, podcasts, video services, and Promo Show. Promo Show is a platform for private and virtual events. And if you're in Las Vegas, stop by booth 5347 and say hello. I believe Brendan is over there, along with, I'm sure, a few other people, maybe Amelia Model and a few other people. Really good folks. So go over, say hi, take a look at the pillow with our faces on it, and take a picture and send it to Meg. I know she's been asking for that. So, all right, guys. Yeah. Well, with that being said, Stephen, if there's no more, we'll go ahead and end it.
Sounds good.
Right.
That sounds great. We'll see you guys.
Bye, guys. Be
awesome.
safe.
Thanks,
and
guys.
stay
Enjoy
healthy.
the show, Stephen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Promo Corner's Industry Insider. For more great content from industry thought leaders, including podcasts, blogs, and videos, visit promocorner.com.